Ooh. Welcome to Market Masters yet again. And we got the screen share going. Let's see. We've got some of our friends here. We've got the chat open. There we go. And this is a continuation of yesterday's presentation. If you missed out, well, or Wednesday's presentation. We started out going over how to build your own indicator. If you are brand new here, let me know in the chat. I will try to grab these replay buttons so you can get caught up later on. Right here, where we're going to kind of build on what we did on Wednesday. As I teased, Wednesday, we're going to actually build an indicator that goes on this theory that if you buy on Fridays for the S&P 500 and you sell on Mondays, that is profitable. We're going to, like, how do you test that? So we're going to build that into an indicator that actually can backtest that and see if that's actually true and that's actually something that you might want to put money at. So that's one of those things. Like, you hear these things and you're like, well, does that actually make money? I don't know. How do you test it? So that's what we're going through. We started on Wednesday with some ideas. Here's the replay link in the chat. Oops, I've sent it to myself. Put that in the chat here. There you go. There's the replays right there. They're all posted. It's not send you a replay. You just go to that link. Replays get posted. In case you don't have the link to get into this show, here it is. You can save it. You can bookmark it. You can, whatever you want to do, throw in the main link. And just in case you want to get an SMS reminder for this show every time Jack and I are live, Jack's on vacation this week, right here you go. You can sign up for an SMS reminder every time we're live. All right. And Jared, you might want to grab those links so we can drop them in there every time. And without further ado, so we've got TradingView up. And if you've never really thought about it, you watch a YouTube video and they tell you something's high probability. You're like, okay, sure. They don't show you any statistics. They don't show you any numbers. They don't show you anything about it. And you're like, later on, you sit there and you go, how do they know it's high probability? Right? Like, how do you actually know? They didn't backtest it. They didn't show it to you. They didn't do anything. Then maybe you're reading an article, maybe you're on Medium or something like that, where they talk about, ways to make money doing trading or something like that. And you talk about high probability, this, that, or the other. And they're like, oh, I backtested all this stuff. And they show a few numbers and you're like, well, did they do that right? Is it actually high probability? So, just a kind of a demonstration on what I'm talking about. We started talking about this on Wednesday, that what's high probability, right? To me, if anything's near 50%, that's not really high probability. All right. You need something that's over 66.67%. You're going to win 2/3 of the time. Right. That, to me, once you get above that threshold, that's higher probability. This trade right here, this is my price pattern that I turned on right here. This is high probability. Now, the other thing you have to think about when you look at this and you decide if this is high probability, if this number right here, total trades in the sample, if this is like 2, think about it this way. Can you flip a coin twice and get heads? Can you flip a coin twice and get tails? And this number right here be 100%? Does that mean every time you flip a coin 2 times, you're going to get heads or get tails? Of course not, right? Like, that's, we know that's not. So it's the same thing with a trade. Like, if you have a low number here, now, statistics, if you've taken college level statistics, I've taken engineering statistics and some computer science stuff that was statistics, and a statistical population commonly held at 30. Why 30? I'm not a PhD in statistics, so I'm not going to go into that. 30 is a statistical population. So if you test something and you have less than 30 here, less than 30 trades, you don't really have a statistical population to base a high probability number off of, right? And that goes with like when you're hearing about Fed reactions and FOMC things and rate cuts, and you look at their sample size, and if it's like, we've done this 5 times in the past, that doesn't really mean anything, right? I mean, even Bitcoin having events, we've done the same cycle 4 times in a row. Is it going to actually continue on? I don't know. We have such a small sample size that doesn't really mean anything. It's a pattern that it's going to work until it doesn't work. So this is back to bigger things in the market. Like how do you put actual conviction to something high probability? Now, another thing to look at when you find something high probability, we've got 51 here. That's high probability. 72. I mean, we've got a statistical population. We've got a more than 66.67. So more than 2/3. That's pretty high probability. This right here, can you make money doing it? Now, profit factor, click that little button right there when you pop it up. And if you don't have a strategy in here, you probably can't get it, but you can add a strategy up here in the indicators button. Why am I using TradingView? Because it's free for everybody to use. You can just go make a free account at TradingView and do this kind of stuff. Now you're limited on how much you can do for a free account. And right now they have a 70% off sale for the next couple of days. If you wanted to jump in that, I think it's a Labor Day sale. But when you're at a profit factor of 1, all right, you have to understand what this means. Profit factor means gross profits. So 1,064 divided by gross losses. So to get this number, we made 1,064 and we lost 1,000, and that got us to, we make 6 cents, 6.4 cents for every dollar we lose. Round, ching, ching, ching. Move that decimal over, ching, 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 right there. So we lose, or we make $1, 6.4 cents. That's $1.06.4 for every dollar we lose. And if you're like, I'm not quite sure. Right there, you click on the little button, it pops up. I can't use my drawing tool and pop that up at the same time. It says the amount of money the strategy made for every unit of money lost. Gross profits divided by gross losses. So on GLD, not really a banger, right? What number do I look for? For me, I like to see these, if I'm going to put money on it myself, I like to see these things over 2, generally, 2 or higher. That's usually a sustainable kind of thing. Now, that doesn't mean, this right here saying it returns 6.4%, basically. Not bad, not outperforming the market. And this is just my signature pattern. So to me, that says I wouldn't use this signature pattern on GLD to trade with. That's not the right indicator for this setup. And this ticker, this indicator. Now, something that is higher probability, kind of crazy. Come down here and you look at SPY on 30 minutes. Now we're looking a little better. Got 82 trades. That's still high probability. I like to see it higher. I like to see this up over 80 personally. 67, still better than 66.67 and 1.3. So, 30% right here. Basically make 30 cents for every dollar you risk. Every trade, not bad. Right? That's higher probability. This is my signature technical analysis pattern. I've put it to code and I can backtest it. This is how I find out how likely it is to go to different profit targets. All right. Now we were going to test out how to take this and build it into something where we can get in on Fridays, get out on Mondays. If you weren't here, we kind of did we had some ideas. We were calling it our first strategy, and we kind of built this in here on Wednesday. And if you missed out on it, it was just a simple moving average cross. You hear this talked about a lot. We built, one of the audience had an idea for a 313 cross on an EMA, a 3 crossing above the 13, and we built that and tested it out, and bottom line, not that awesome. We can add it back to the chart, kind of look at it briefly. You can see 39%. Does have a nice profit factor, but that's not high probability. It's high probability to lose right there. And then we adjusted it like, well, what if you went short when that fired up? Yeah, didn't, not really profitable that way either. So this is, while it does make money, you're going to lose most of the time right there. That 40% means 60% of the time you take a trade, 6 out of 10, you're going to lose. 4 out of 10, you're going to win. Profit factor right there. Anybody getting value out of this? Let me know in the chat. Anybody starting to understand the importance of being able to do this potentially yourself, or know somebody who can do this kind of stuff? This is important. And if a guru won't tell you why something's high probability and won't show you the numbers of the, how it's high probability, they're kind of blowing smoke up your rear just a little bit. So now moving on to, I talked about a trade before we left on Wednesday, and that one paid out pretty good. And we'll circle back to that. It's based on the time-based thing. So we're going to take this and we're going to back out of the EMA stuff here. All right. Now, if you don't have this so far, you just pop in here. You go and create new, and you create strategy, and you get kind of a blank slate. In fact, we could just do that. We could just start a new one. New strategy. You want to save the current? No. So this is what it looks like here. We've got this new strategy, and we're going to name it my first time strategy right there. Overlay true, all that stuff. We're going to take this and turn it back off. And I need to remove that other one off of the chart. It's annoying me a little bit. So to get rid of them, you just hit the trash can, gone. Now we're back down to just price. We've got our strategy, my first time strategy, and the long condition in here is TA crossover. But that's not what helps. Like we're not doing a TA technical analysis SMA crossover, right? That's not what we're here to do today. We want to do a time-based. We want to test this idea. Like, what if we get in on Fridays and we get out on Mondays, right? So first off, we got to have some way to know what day of the week it is, all right? And without diving into the full API and, application programming interface and all the things that you can pull up out of TradingView, you can use AI to help you do this stuff. If you're just like, code, are you freaking kidding me? I didn't take any computer science degree. This is not my thing. That's okay. You can go ask Gemini or Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT. There's like 9 gazillion of them these days. DeepSeek. You can say, hey, I'm trying to write something in, and you can just talk to it. Grok. You can say, hey, I'm trying to write something in ThinkScript. That's what they call in the Pine editor, in TradingView. These are my ideas that I want to test out. And it'll probably get you 90% of the way there. At least for me, it gets me 90% of the way there. All right. It makes errors, it makes mistakes. If you're not swooped enough to know how to fix it, that's cool. You got a friend, a guru that does this every day, this kind of stuff. So I've used that AI stuff. I didn't use it for this particular indicator. And you can load up anybody else's indicator and actually look at the code when you click the little curly braces here and look at the source code as long as it's public. Now, some of them aren't public. If you have a private indicator that you paid for, probably not going to see their source code. But on all the indicators that TradingView has in here by default, you can go look at all of the code and figure out, how to do something and copy it and put it into your own indicator. All right. If you want to know how to do accumulation distribution or any of these things like ATRs and any single thing they have in here, Rob Booker's got some stuff. Any single thing in here, you can grab it, look at the code, and take parts of it and build it into your own thing. All right. If you want an indicator that indicates when the moon cycle is, that was in here. So we're going to take and we're going to say, all right, is it Friday? That's our variable name. And we're going to say that's equal to day of the week. This is a built-in thing. Oh, I grabbed I need the day of week. I need the variable, not the function. Is day of week equal to day of week dot Friday? Right, like that. Like, is it Friday? We want to know, is today Friday, right? Now, to get out on Monday, we need to know, is it Monday? So is day of week equal day of week dot Monday? So that tells us, is today Friday or is today Monday? All the other times, this, if it's not Friday, this one will be false. If it's not Monday, this one will be false. If it is Friday, this one will be true. And if it's Monday, this one will be true. So now we know, is it Friday or is it Monday? That's kind of like, we want to get in on Friday, so we got to know if it's Friday. We want to get out on Monday, so we got to know if it's Monday. All right, that already got us part of the way here. Now, when do we want to get in? Do you want to get in late in the day? Do you want to get in early in the day? My favorite is Manus. That's the one I use the most. Just TA. Question was, do you like Grok the most? I like Manus, which is an AI agent. It's not a chatbot, so it's a whole different bag of worms. Kind of takes the chatbot thing to 11. And so now we need to know, well, what time is it? And we can create another variable. Like, is it 3 p.m.? Then we want to say we want to get in late in the day on Friday, right? So it is 3 p.m. And then this gets a little more complicated. We got to find out the hour, time, 1, hour, time, 1. And we got to do a little bit of work here. America, America. This is common programmer jargon right here to get the time zone proper. America, New York. So we're going to grab the hour of the day right now. Is that equal to, and we're going to make this a variable that we can change the time just in case we want to test it. All right. And we're going to call this variable entry time. All right. We're going to set it, we're going to make the default 15, which is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time. All right. That's market time, 3 o'clock. And if you live somewhere else, you can change that to America, like San Francisco or on the West Coast or anything in between, Chicago for Central Time. You just got to remember your time zones that you code in here. All right. Now, shows I've got an error because I forgot a parenthesis. It highlighted that thing for me. Said, hey, you screwed up. There we go. Is time 1. It's basically the hour, time 1. All right. Now, is it 3 p.m.? Now, we want to get out early. Like, what do you think? 9 o'clock? 10 o'clock? So, is it, let's say 10 a.m., just as a default. And this is just in our code. Like, it doesn't matter. You can call it anything. You can say is morning, is afternoon. You could call it anything. This is just my example here. And I actually did kind of code this one up a little bit to give you an example. We're actually using some of the logic out of my gold trade that I call the gold rush alert. And we got to put this, I'm just going to copy paste that since it's too much opportunity to make a typo. American New York. And we're going to see, is that input? We're going to, 10 o'clock hour. We're going to 10. And we're going to call that title equals exit time. All right. So now when we save this and add it to the chart and we click on it, we can actually set the entry and exit time if we want to. And that'll help us test out, is it best to get in at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock on Friday and out at what time on Monday? How do you get the most bang for your buck on this potential strategy, right? Now, how do we know when it's time to buy? Long condition, right? But we're not using this crossover stuff that was defaulted in here. So we can just backspace that out. Now, we want to get long if it, is it Friday? Right? That's the first condition, right? Is it Friday? That gets us in. And is it 3 p.m.? A little bars in the way here. Is it 3 p.m.? So Friday afternoon, we're getting in. That's the long condition, right? Now, our sell condition equals, is it Monday? Is Monday, and is it basically morning time? That's it. Pretty simple, huh? Is it Friday, 3 p.m.? Get in. Is it Monday, 10 a.m.? Get out. Of course, we can change the times. So these, you got to remember, when you actually set this up, is 3 and 10 the good ones, or is there something else? And we can test those different times, and we can, I'll show you how it kind of changes as we go. Now, the long condition. If we have that long condition, what are we going to do? We're going to get in, right? We're going to buy something. And that's all. We're just going to get in. Now, this right down here, we don't have a short condition, but we have if sell condition. We're not going to enter. We're going to close all. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get in, and then we're going to close everything out on the sell condition. Not too difficult, right? Not too incredibly difficult. So that's kind of it at this point. Now, there's some nuance to actually where you operate this. Now, because we're checking the hour, can you run this on the daily chart? This will basically run at the end of each candle. So if you're on a daily chart, this won't fire until after the market's closed, after the daily candle's done. Same thing for the exit condition. It wouldn't fire until after the day is done if you operate this on a daily chart. So you're going to need to operate it on a lower time frame, like a 30-minute. You could be on an hour, you could be on a 30-minute, you could be on a 15-minute even. It may fire multiple times. Now, the problem with it firing multiple times, because the condition would be right and every candle close would get you. So we're going to add something extra here. And if long condition and strategy dot position size, if we're not already in a position. And this will just close anything that's open. So we don't need any extra here. All right. That way we can play with time frame and see if there's a better time frame without getting in a whole bunch of times on Friday. So that's a little extra nuance there if you were, just to help out. So that's a filter I typically put into these. All right, so let's add it to the chart and see what happens. Oh my goodness, look at this. So first off, first glance, getting in on Friday, getting out on Monday. Makes money. 55%. That's not really high probability. Looking from 2019 through 2025, 294 trades. That seems to be pretty accurate. But we notice it goes in cycles. Has a losing cycle. It's really wins for a while. Another losing cycle. Really wins for a while. Another losing cycle. And we're on a streak right here. So it goes through periods where it works and where it doesn't work. Where it doesn't work looks like when we top out in the market and then do a correction, then it works really good when we're running. Then we top out in the market and go into a correction through October of 22. Doesn't work so good. On the recovery, we're pretty good. Now we were in this period where we topped out middle of last year when the Japan carry trade blew out last summer. We went through a period of decline again. Now we're in this explosive up period again. It's pretty interesting. So what does this kind of tell us? It tells us that the market tends to go gap up over the weekend during bullish periods. During bearish periods, maybe not so much. Now let's see if there's any time of day that this to improve these numbers at all. Right? We've got 55%. We got one. Let's go in here. We can click the properties, or I mean the inputs, excuse me. We can change the get in time, 2 o'clock. Let's see if getting in a little early helps us at all. And we rerun the numbers, and somebody's messaging like crazy. That's cool. Rerun the numbers, and then actually up the win rate a little bit. And the profit factor. So getting in at 2 o'clock is better than getting in at 3 o'clock. Right there. That's interesting. What if, let's just keep testing a little bit. Like, can we do something different? Is it maybe 1 o'clock? Does that help any? Update the reports, and it does. Gets a little more bullish. A little better, a little better. Maybe noon. And that started dropping off. Like our percent profitable dropped a little bit. Profit factor went up though. Kind of interesting. Anybody finding value in this? Anybody liking it? Love the feedback. There we go. Getting in earlier. So somewhere around 2 o'clock seems to be our sweet spot right here. Now, am I saying you should do this? You probably should filter. We go through those periods of downtrend, but see, we eliminated those big negatives. Like when we were getting in at 3 and getting out, we didn't, we went negative and negative. This has actually improved it quite a bit here by getting in at 2. Now, let's see if that 10 o'clock is that something that helps? Can we change this to, maybe we should get it out right at the market open, right? Let's see if that changes anything. Ooh. So that went a little worse. getting at 9 o'clock. Let's see if maybe out at 11. Well, that's better. Better. So this is kind of interesting, right? Like, what time is the time you get in? What time is the time you get out? If you wanted to do this, well, there you go. Like, this seems to be, we've kind of figured out that looks like out at 10 a.m. on Monday, you get in at 2 o'clock on Friday. And this could be a profitable thing right here. Now, this doesn't tell you anything about spreads and, things like that. Could you do a credit spread on Friday and up the win rate even higher? Well, that gets way beyond what we're talking about right here. It gets more complicated. All right. So can you post the code so can paste into TradingView? I'm guessing what you're asking. Just take a screenshot right here. Pop it back up. It's pretty simple. It's not like this is not much. It's not much to this. I just wrote it while you're watching. Take a screenshot. Do it yourself. Right there. Now, am I saying that this is a banger idea? No, I'm not saying this is the end all be all banger idea. You probably should add some more conditions to why you would get long. Like, are you above a 50-day moving average? And we could actually add that in here if we wanted to see if that filtered it out and made it even better. So we could actually add in, let's say, make an EMA filter, and we'll just call that TA EMA close inputs. Let's go with 34 just to start, and we can call it title. And that way, if we make it a variable, we didn't make variables on Wednesday, but if we make it a variable, we can actually change this and test it. So if we had made variables out of these on Wednesday, we could have actually changed them without having to change the code. That's the advantage here. So, and we can just call it, so we know what the devil this is. EMA filter. Now, there, my EMA filter. It's trying to help me call it something. Now, over here, though, to actually make it work for us, and we have to add another condition. We have to say close of the current candle. Current candle 0. We can go current candle, the past candle. We can say close 1 is greater than EMA. And we have to grab the EMA at that particular candle too. EMA filter. I forgot to call it the full name. There we go. EMA filter 1. So is the price that we just closed, open, high, low, close. That's if you don't have any clue on this stuff. Open, high, low, close is how price is defined in financial stuff for these indicators to work. All right. And it's the open of the candle, open of the time frame, the close of the time frame, the high of the time frame, and low of the time frame. You can access all that data. So now we have a filter right here. And we can kind of update that on the charts. And now we can go to our strategy tester and see, did we up the win rate? Did we up the profit factor? We certainly did. Certainly did. Now I just add an EMA. You can make it an SMA, or you can make it, whatever you want. If you want 50-day moving average, or now this is just a 34 EMA on the time frame. So this is not really a day moving average. This is a 34 EMA on the 30-minute time frame. If you wanted a daily, you'd have to go up to that. Now, let's see if messing with that at all changes the results. So we come in here back to the edit button. Now we have a new piece right here. We now have that EMA filter. It's cool. It jumped away. Appreciate that. Now I have that. So what if a 50? Let's just go with a 50, right? 50 EMA. Updating the report. Ooh, look at that. Extra spicy. Now we're cutting out a bunch of the losses, and we're starting to crank the profitable trades up even higher. Let's go for my favorite, 144. It's my roadmap line. It actually took the profitable down a little bit. So filtering out winners. That's what that's saying right there. That's a little too aggressive. So something closer is still Fibonacci based, 55. 62, 1.7. That's a pretty good, looking like pretty good numbers here. Now, still under 66.67, so it's not high probability, but it does win quite a bit. The periods of loss, much, we cut those down instead of it being like, look back here in 2022, when we were just using the default, this cut out all that give back, all that drawdown right there. And what are we doing? We're just buying one share of SPY. That's all we're doing on this strategy right here. You can go in and look at the analysis, and if you wanted to buy how does it change if I buy 100 shares and all that sort of stuff, you can do that analysis and change that trade size. But right now it's just, this is 195 trades, 121 are winners, 74 losers. You can get all the kind of information once you've created a strategy. All right. I don't really care what it says, Ruth. You can say, I typo and it doesn't really matter. That's not a filler filter. Just me typoing. That's how typos happen. That's how, when you see a computer program and it says something weird, that's how it happens. Programmer typing. And it doesn't change the effect of what we did at all. And the titles of stuff. There you go. It bugs you. Now it says filter. Didn't change the results. So what's the best? Oh, I clicked on the wrong indicator. And you can change how much, if you want to buy 100 shares, you can actually change it in the tester right here under properties without having to put it in the code. And now, if you bought 100 shares of SPY every time this fired off from 2019 through 2025 in August 29th here, be up $12,000. Is that worth it? I don't know. Like, that's basically a 68% upside. Not bad, but if you had just bought and hold SPY through that whole time frame, maybe you would be up even more. Interesting, huh? Anybody find this interesting? So if you want to screenshot it, right here you go. It's not very long code. It's pretty simple. You'd be like, all right, how do I use it? How can I take this, now that I've found something that actually works for me, how do I take this and build it into something that actually lets me know when to trade? Right? And it shows up on the chart. Well, that's easy too. In TradingView, all you do, pop over here to alerts. I've got lots of alerts. You click the button. You come down here, my first strategy. You've got to make it the same as the chart, the 30-minute chart. That's what we're using it for. So we have we wanted an open-ended alert. We want to fire off every time it happens from now on. We can customize any kind of information we want to know. This is partly what feeds my algorithms. And then you can set up your notifications. I have it going to 5 different places. That would be my email. That would be an app alert for TradingView app on my phone. That'd be a webhook, a browser alert inside TradingView that I have up. So it can do all those things for you. Like it can email you when this fires off. So you're like out there doing something, you're like, oh, or it fires off to your TradingView app and you put a custom ringtone on your TradingView app when it fires off an alert. You can Oh, I got to get in the SPY trade. Now, does it work for something else? Did we kind of customize this for SPY only? Now, here's where I caution back to statistics. You can over optimize for the historical data and it not be representative. We kind of see that whole past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This comes from this kind of thing right here, where that back testing we just did may not necessarily be indicative of future performance. Like this may never win again. It's kind of unlikely, but it may never win again. We may have over optimized it for this specific period of time. So one of the things you can do is start with a smaller time frame like we did here, and then you can expand it to like the entire history. And we dropped a little bit. These numbers went down. So maybe we over optimized it a little bit for the current time frame. And this past history, not as awesome. If I put it in the chat, it's not going to be anything you can copy. Right there. You can take a screenshot right there. This code, not necessarily anything. I just made this up for this example right here. Would I use this trade on? No, probably not. I'd do a lot more sophistication to it. And this is not a net winner, basically. I mean, it is a net winner, but it's not a high probability net winner. So be careful. And this will all be in the replay, so you can pop up the replay. We posted those links. Jerry could probably repost them. You can watch the replay, pause it, copy it down if you want to. Now, reset to the default. Does it work on QQQ? We bought the Qs on Friday and sold at the same time. Does it work? And the win rate dropped a little bit, right? Went down a little bit, went down a little bit. So doesn't necessarily work with that same filter. Now you could set up a different filter and attach it to the QQQ chart if you wanted to. Well, that 55 EMA that JT used wasn't necessarily the best one for this time frame. You can change it to something else. And I clicked on the wrong indicator yet again to change the settings. 34, whichever one we're looking at, 55, 34. Change it back to that. See if it improves the win rates slightly. Profit factor went down. So not as banger on QQQ. Maybe you're like, all right, how about my favorite stock, Apple? Does this work on Apple? Maybe. And would it be better to do this seasonality? I'm not. You can take that, build it, test it, figure it out. Like, is this something you want to do seasonality? This is, I'm not trying to give you a high probability. I'm trying to demonstrate how you would test it. All right, that's the point here, is to demonstrate how you would test something. Now, I've built some strategies that I use that are pretty high probability. And when I was talking about it, like this one right here, this is why do I use my market roadmap bounce and talk about my technical pattern? Because it works. All right. This is the way this works. Like, this is high probability. And you may be like, all right. See, before I became an actual guru, I worked for another guru as the chief automated trading specialist. The cats meow. I basically coded automated algorithms for them in Forex trading. So I know a few things about doing this and building an automated strategy that can just run and trade for you by yourself, like basically a trading robot. And I'm actually working on my own iteration of something like that right now that wins 90% of the time. Absolute insane. and it can trade credit spreads. To me, that blows my mind. It's something I'm working on. We're going to probably have that out for the public in October, I think. If this is something that interests you, let me see if I have anything I can show what it's looking like. Yeah. So this went out. This one hit yesterday. These are very preliminary. It's going to change. It doesn't look like this yet. I had this right here in Discord, and this one actually made money. I traded it and I made money right there. It gives you a credit spread. So basically get in at 30 cents credit, get out at 15 cents credit. Your risk is 70 cents, potential profit 21%. And that actually worked, and it made that money. So I build these automated strategies and pump out the alerts to people like you to be able to take these kind of trades. And I have a gold trade that we talked about on Wednesday. Let me pop over the gold channel in Discord and I'll show off what the alert looked like. I teased it, I showed the back test on it on Wednesday. So if you missed that video, go watch the replay. But here's I'm gonna mark these all red so it doesn't. This is my demo account in Discord. This is not my real account. Jeffry test down here. But the alert fired off for this week right here. Fired off. And I went ahead and took it manually. I don't let the bot pick the option for me. I picked the trade. But then yesterday we closed it out right before the bell. Out before the bell, 50% profit right there. So if you want to know more about this strategy right here, let me know in the chat that you want to know more. I can tell you more about this right now. So we got some people that are hyped up on it. So this thing, it doesn't win all the time, all right? It wins about 70% of the time. The average return, about 16%. When we do win, we make usually 50% or more. The average hold time, about 3 days. This one was overnight, basically. We bought on Wednesday, got out on Thursday, made 50%. Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, I can't guarantee that it's always going to work. It loses like 30% of the time, 3 out of 10. That's kind of the way it works, right? You do the best you can. There's high probability stuff. So I'm glad you're here because right now there's a concerning pattern showing up on the bigger picture S&P 500 charts. It's kind of warning me. This kind of same stuff I saw before we saw the COVID flash crash right there. During that time, I turned a $250,000 account into 1.4 million in under a month and became a guru out of it right there. I was just a nobody trader back before COVID. So listen to what I'm about to say. I kind of know a thing or two out there. The opportunity I see right now could be bigger than the COVID flash crash. I'm talking about a greater depression type potential correction. We've gone absolutely exponential. We could take the whole darn thing back, whether you believe it or not. Man, we could see like a 50% haircut on the S&P. Now, I'm not showing you this chart to scare you. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. I want you to be aware of the market risks so you can prepare accordingly and possibly take advantage of my #1 strategy on gold that kind of avoids all this. You see, the strategy I'm going to show you today isn't correlated with this overall stock market. It's all based on one asset. It's been a hedge against economic turmoil in the markets for centuries. So far this year, it's been outperforming the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, even Bitcoin, if you can believe it. So take some notes. Now, it's all thanks to this document right here. The SEC made a change in this instrument and added some stuff. This was a special amendment on December 5th, 2023. And this allows us to target extra income over the weekend from this largest asset on the planet, which is gold. No mince in words, right? This is gold. I'm talking about the chance to earn an extra $1,000 when you risk $2,000. That's a 50% return right there each weekend using a regular brokerage account. That means when the rest of the world is left with nothing to do on Saturdays or Sundays, when the stock market's closed, we have an opportunity to target extra income over the weekend while still living life to the fullest. Like on November 15th, anybody could have taken a few minutes to place a quick trade before the weekend hit, maybe go out on an Airbnb, came back on Monday to an extra $1,000 payday. That's a 50% return on a $2,000 risk right there. That's what we're talking about. The next weekend came along, could have set up the trade and done it all over again. Little mini vacation and maybe paid for the vacation. $1,000 payday, 50% gain on a $2,000 risk. Next weekend rolls around, shot to do it again, November 29th, hit a few buttons, go out to dinner, drinks with friends, maybe, dinner and a show, maybe, spa day. And instead of worrying about how to pay for all that stuff, could have come back to another $1,000 payday. Now, let me be clear. There's no instant income magic pill. There's no goose that lays golden eggs you just pick up and take to the pawn shop. All right, this is not get rich quick kind of stuff. Just like anything in the market, there's winners and there are definitely losers along the way. That's why for the next few minutes, don't think of just you're not going to do an overnight millionaire. Like there's a 1 in a bajillion chance. And a few of us hit it in our lifetimes. Most of us, we're stuck living the grind. All right. Financial freedom doesn't happen overnight, usually. To the occasional few, buy lottery tickets, it works. For the rest of us, probably not happening. It happens little bit by little bit, weekend after weekend, plan after plan, doing high probability trades. Thanks to this recent special amendment by the SEC regarding GLD, your weekends could become a lot more enjoyable, knowing that when Monday hits, you could have a little extra jingle in your pocket, a little extra gold, without having to go grab a bag of pay dirt and pan it out right there. And this is real pay dirt right there I bought. It's got, it's supposed to have like a gram of gold in it or something like that. Valuable little bag, I guess, these days as gold goes higher. So imagine this. What if there was a way to target extra $1,000 in income without having to go pan out of the creek or something like that from gold each and every weekend, all by taking a few minutes to grab a position way before the weekend hits and close out by Monday? The timing for this couldn't be any better with the real inflation rates out of control, interest rates at decade level highs. I mean, 7 out of 10 of us feel financially stressed, right? Think about that. 7 out of 10 people. Picture 10 people. You, 9 buddies, 9 church members, 9 family members, 9 other people. 7 out of 10 feeling financially stressed. That sucks. Maybe you're one of them. 7. And for a good reason. I mean, things have gone. The PCE that came out today, 2.9 on the core. Still going higher. Childcare costs up, food prices up, car payments up, gasoline prices up, mortgage payment. I mean, you name it, up. Unlike anything we've seen before. And they're not coming back down. So even if you're one of the lucky few who got a $10,000 raise last year, you're still falling way behind. It's impossible to keep up with this anymore. That's why people searching anywhere they can to generate extra income, cover the bills, picking up second jobs, working nights and weekends. Heck, a friend of mine recently picked up Uber Eats just to make ends work. And I mean, that's after working a full-time job. They go do Uber Eats in the evenings. So they got the bills covered by the end of the week. That's why I'm here. I want to help people, especially during these hard times with crazy high inflation, just keeps going. Because with what I'm sharing, you could cover some extra costs with that $1,000 every weekend from gold, straight from the comfort of your home. And it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you've been trading for years like me. All you need is a regular brokerage account, internet connection, a few minutes to do this before the weekend hits. And that's pretty much it. Just a few minutes, I can show you how to place your very first trade. That way, by the time Monday rolls around, you have a shot at a little extra gold in your pockets without having to buy some pay dirt or something, or get some pay dirt out of the creek. Now, before we get there, let's take a step back. I'll show you how all this works. Let's say that you took $2,000, and that's the amount we'll refer to in all the examples. Now, in the back half of October, S&P had a terrible fall. You put your $2,000 in SPY, down $82. But anybody who would have followed along with the weekend gold rush could have gotten in GLD and seen a 50% upside with that $2,000. Next weekend rolled around, same story. S&P down, NASDAQ down, bonds down, crypto down. You put your $2,000 in any of those, you were down. Now, what I'm going to share with you here today, that same weekend, you could have knocked it out of the park, potentially made $1,000 in 2 weekends in a row. Not bad. Think about that. At that rate, after 4 weeks, right there, it could be an extra $4,000 at a time when most people are pinching pennies like never before. I mean, this could make a pretty big instant impact for so many people out there. I mean, look, mortgage payments have nearly doubled in the last 4 years. That means Americans are now paying $900 for the exact same house. You know, cookie cutter, pick it up, move it over, rebuy it, $900 more. So if you're forced to move, sorry. And it's not like people have this extra change laying around, not unless you had a big nest egg to begin with. But traders who have taken advantage of the weekend gold rush could have increased their money potentially without having to grab extra jobs to make it happen. You could have just hung out at the lake. And by now, you're probably wondering, how the heck is this even possible from gold? I'll reveal everything in just a minute. But let me first start off by saying, if you're holding down a job, I'm not telling you to quit. If you've been saving for retirement, keep going. That's smart things to do. With what I'm sharing today, maybe this can help supplement some income with a new technique on gold I just haven't seen anybody else using. Just like the first weekend in November, could have taken a few minutes, place the trade. Maybe go on a camping trip, Scout's honor. I love camping, near and dear to me. I'm an Eagle Scout, of course. And you come back after the weekend, $1,000 payday. Now, the average household pays like $6,000 in extra living expenses now, just to make do. I mean, that's like 73 grand a year just to make ends meet. I mean, I'm talking about, bare necessity stuff, healthcare, food, transportation, clothing, just the normal stuff that's in CPI. Bare necessities. And maybe it's the stuff they take out of CPI. I don't know. The median household income, though, only 74 grand. So if you have a refrigerator blowout or HVAC unit needs a repair bill, water line bust, man, all of a sudden you're in the red for the year. You can forget about, fancy cars or vacations. Well, with this Weekend Gold Rush project, maybe we can cushion that a little bit. Everybody needs it. I mean, the last three back-to-back-to-back examples right there, 50% return with a $2,000 risk. That's 3,000 extra bucks on the weekends, meaning that the money you worked your butt off during the week to earn, well, you could actually spend it on things you want to spend it on, and maybe just build up a rainy day fund, which is probably the better idea, which is why I'm so excited about this brand new project. I'm on a mission to try to teach people what the SEC did right there. So you could take advantage of it, potentially starting next week, because this week we already played it out. Because based on my research, you won't be able to get these kind of returns in other places. At least I haven't seen these kind of steady weekend opportunities, certainly not on gold. Most financial advisors out there, the Edward Jones guy in the strip mall down the, the one I'm talking about, the one down the way. If you ever go talk to one of those financial planner guys, they'll tell you the only way to hit your retirement goals is, buy an index fund, stash it in there, hope we get there by the time we want to retire. Unfortunately, just not getting the job done. I mean, do the math. 8% annual rate of return. That's kind of an average in the market, maybe 9%, 8, 9, 7. I don't know. It dances around. But we're talking about 31 years starting with $100,000 to hit $1 million. 31 years from where I am right now, I'm going to be like getting near 80. And a recent study by Charles Schwab suggests that maybe you need more than $1 million, like 2 million. I read this thing. I was like, whew, that's scary. Inflation's been killing us, right? I mean, this is inflation right here. That's why they're saying 2 million. That's twice as much as we've all been told over the years. 40% of Americans cutting back, pushing back retirement because of this fact. And maybe you can't retire till you're 80. Like, that's what I was just talking about, right? Like, if you started late, Lee, do that 8% a year, $100,000. I don't know where you come up with $100,000, but yikes. That's why whether you're retired or just starting on the workforce, you got to pay attention. This Weekend Gold Rush thing, you have the opportunity to do this. You can fill the gap, targeting extra income over the weekend while most people just left without a way to do anything. And so far, the results on live trades over the past 2 years, about 70%. That's like cashing out seven out of every 10 weekends when we have an opportunity with $1,000 payday. We have the shot to do it again and again and again, even if gold barely moves. Like the third week in February, gold was up 0.9%, made $1,000. Following week, 0.75%, made $1,000. You notice the gains in gold getting smaller here, but every weekend we have the same opportunity. Right here, gold barely moved 0.6%. Another $1,000 payday. I'm going to show you all how this works thanks to a special trade setup on GLD. We've been able to collect even when the price barely moves. Kind of has to do with that indicator we just built, the time-based one. We're getting in and getting out. And in these last three back-to-back-to-back examples right there, gold didn't even move 1% over the weekend, yet we collected the payday. Keep in mind, you could have been doing whatever it is you love to do over the weekends, whether that's going to farmers markets, maybe cruising around town, possibly riding in the Cybertruck. That's mine right there. I love that thing. Amazing machine. Maybe it's just coming to Knoxville and hanging out with other world-class traders like yourself at a coaching session. However you spend your weekends, your choice. Knowing when Monday rolls around, you might have a $1,000 payday. Maybe a new favorite day of the week. It's all thanks to this special amendment by the US SEC. This thing unlocked the ability right here. This thing wasn't available. Now they've unlocked it for years to come. So here's what they did. On December 5th, 2023, they added some extra weekly options on GLD. Now we're able to trade more days of the week. And don't worry, you already have access to these options inside your regular brokerage account. These new options open the door to short-term income opportunities over the weekend, closing out on Mondays. If everything works out, we'd have a chance to collect an extra $1,000 by the time Monday hits, just like we could have done the next weekend in March. All you had to do, set the trade up on March 6th before the weekend, and sure enough, by the time Monday hit, cash fund settled, $1,000 payday, 50% return. Don't worry, placing this thing is no different than trading Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, Netflix, SPY, QQQ, you name it. So by now you're probably thinking, all right, seems like it wins all the time. Does it lose? And of course it loses. It loses about 30% of the time, 3 out of 10. No strategy wins all the time. Don't risk more than you can afford to lose. My goal is to do everything in my power to help limit losses. After all, I have not yet I've not really met anybody in the world that loves to lose money. I mean, I've not really met that person yet. That's why my team and I worked tirelessly over the last period of time to perfect this for the good times and the bad. I'm happy to report live trading this for 2 years now shows that it can be small account friendly. You could possibly get in with as little as $500 position size, maybe smaller, $1,000 weekend payout, and about 70% success rate with a built-in risk management based on time. Like we're always out on Monday. Now, let me take a moment to share some of the top experiences here. Like Johnny loves how easy this is. Laura, booking bigger than 50%. Do we have to stop at 50%? No, there's sometimes bigger gains to be had. Donald right here pulled over on $9.95 while he's shopping and going to Home Depot, put the trade on. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Jerry right here. Jerry, I don't know if you're here, man, but you've done some awesome work on this gold trade. $5,600 here, and we'll talk more about Jerry here in a minute because he's made some amazing trades on this gold. I would love nothing more to see you have these same type of weekend opportunities on Gold Rush. Now, I think it's finally time to answer the question, how does it really work? So let's get into it. Take a look at this chart right here. Now, what you're looking at, if it loads up here, there it goes. What you're looking at is the performance of gold each day of the week since the year 2000, right there. On the bar, you can see annually about 9% a year. What a lot of people don't really realize, most of the gains happen one day of the week, that day being Friday, right there. Back to the core of why we built the strategy, grabbing the weekend, right? Now, that means if you only bought on Fridays and held on Fridays and then sold after Friday, you could have captured most of the upside gains. It's this Friday phenomenon that's the kind of the heart of the weekend gold rush. Look what happened March 8th, the first Friday of the month. Gold gapped up, went on a hot run, surged about 1% higher. Now, 1% not big if you bought shares, but that's all we needed to collect a 50% gain on some options over the weekend. And if you're thinking, all right, if all the gains happen on Friday, why even hold it over the weekend? Well, great question. The data has shown that there's this resettlement period that happens after hours on Fridays where gold actually gets a little more juice, tends to go up a little bit more. So by Monday morning, we catch that a little extra juice while the regular stock market's closed, right? We get all that extra juice by closing out on Monday. Like March 28th, the last Friday in March, gold surged on Friday, up about 1%. Now you could have bought shares, made a few bucks, or you could have taken advantage of the weekend gold rush trade and locked in a crisp, clean $1,000 bill. Although they don't make $1,000 bills, so 10 Benjamins, right? That's 37 times better bang for your buck than buying the shares without using anything complicated. No spreads, no strangles, no iron condors. We're just buying a simple call option in the right place. You see, I designed a very basic trade to leverage this Friday phenomenon. Now, you might think I'm actually waiting to Friday to place the trade, but I actually like to get in on a Wednesday afternoon that we have plenty of time to get in before the weekend hits. Like this week, we got in on Wednesday and we got out yesterday, right there. before the Friday phenomenon even hit. But we get that extra little juice, and then we get out on Monday, which is another look. The only day we're avoiding is Tuesday right there, the down day for gold, like the second weekend of May. Could have gotten in right there. Pachow. Place a straightforward trade. No spread, no iron condors, no butterfly back twist, jade lizard, nothing. Then you just go out and enjoy life. You just do the stuff you love to do, whether it's a VR theme park, maybe hitting the links with the girls, the boys, the mixed couples, maybe going camping, back to that thing I love to do, right? Scout's honor. Be prepared. Love camping. Now, when Monday rolls around, open the brokerage account to another $1,000 payday right there. And traders like you crushed it on this one. I mean, we had Savannah, Brian, Brett, Jerry, Michael, Dan, Craig, Goose, Brian, Suzanne, Darren, Mike, Warren, Alan, and Tony crushing it right there. And you notice these are all the same day right there. Now, of course, you can't just blindly make this happen, right? You can't just, we're not just buying at the money. There's a little more trick, a little more nuance to it. If that was, if it was just blind, no big deal, everybody would do it right now. You have to know which options to pick, when, where to pick them, what the filter is. It's not just as simple as get in Wednesday, get out Monday. There's some filter to it. And I'm going to show you everything to start taking advantage of the weekend gold rush right away. Because the truth is, right now, everybody needs a little extra gold in your pocket. I mean, we certainly could use it, right? PCE up 2.9% today. I mean, this inflation thing ramping back up for the new act. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter who you have a brokerage account with. It doesn't matter if you've been trading for a week or a couple decades like me. That's why I put together a live step-by-step video that you can use to implement this thing right here. It includes the full details on how to place the first trade, how to manage your risk, how to take advantage of the weekend gold rush. See, once you see this step-by-step workshop, you might be shocked at how clear-cut it really is. You immediately get access to your first trade, potentially next weekend, right there. Like we saw back on April 10th, after hitting a few buttons, locked the trade, set it up for the weekend, send it off back to your normal day, and sure enough, by the time Monday rolled around, another $1,000 payday. So far, current members can't get enough of this thing. Look at some of these stories, like my man Sledge. He went on a golf trip. He went, we were showing golf a minute ago. He went to play 36 holes. He paid for the whole darn thing, even though he got rained out right there. And he, got rained out, closed it out right there, paid for the whole trip. He got rained out right there. Bummer. But paid for the trip. Nice job. Sometimes students do even better than me. Like Kathy, booked 70%. Beth, booking 196%. Jerry, like I said, we come back to Jerry. Look at this, $5,000. Whoo, baby. That's nice. And then Jerry turns around the very next weekend, back to back. Jerry just made 15 grand on gold. Look at that. Beautiful. After trading the weekend gold rush with people like Patrick, my man Sledge, Kathy, Beth, Jerry for months and months now, the results have been spectacular. I want to share this with more people, which is exactly why I couldn't be more excited that you're here today with me. Today, everybody can get their hands on this thing right there, that workshop and the gold rush thing, just by subscribing to my brand new service, Gold Rush Alerts. This service is solely dedicated to targeting extra income over the weekends, thanks to these newly minted GLD options the SEC approved. These are ones that have shown the power to pay out $1,000 when there's an opportunity that sets up on the charts. Now, let me walk you through what you can get as a new member here today. Every single week, I'm going to give you my very best weekend trade setup on gold when there's an opportunity. This is one that I would personally put money into, because I always do, or share with friends or family. You're like my friends and family when you join me. That's up to 52 weekend opportunities every year, potentially, right there. Each one based on the same method that's shown to pay out $1,000 when there's a setup. I'll hold nothing back in each of these alerts. I'll break it down for you, what exactly I'm doing, when to place the trade, what option I'm grabbing, the entry, the exit, it's all in there, every alert. I do the hard work and find the opportunities. Read along, decide if you want to do it. Right there. Like what happened the next weekend, April 16th, 2025. Hit the alert, right to your inbox. You could have spent the weekend riding on the lake with friends, working on your backhand, maybe playing that pickleball tournament. And by the time Monday rolled around, extra $1,000 in your pocket right there. And don't feel like you need to sit at your computer babysitting this all day long. I'm going to post these trades on Wednesday around 3:30. That way you have plenty of time to get in before the weekend hits. And of course, alongside email alerts, you get instant alerts inside my chat room. If you want to join the chat room, instant alerts. Otherwise, one click, we post them in there, put them out on SMS and Telegram and all that sort of stuff through one click. I think you have to log back into one click to get the actual details. I'll show you all the exact stuff I'm doing. And there's no better feeling than celebrating a big win with your peers if you're in the actual chat room with all my people, all my followers. Now, before we talk price, there's something I haven't mentioned. Takes us to a whole new level. Now, while we normally target extra income over the weekend and close out on Mondays, sometimes we get paid early. I'm talking about going into the weekend with the cash in hand like we did this weekend right here. Total game changer. That's exactly what happened last week, August 20th, and this week. Also, in the last 2 weeks, back to back, this has happened. As a member, you would have gotten that alert Wednesday, 3:30 p.m. And sure enough, by the time Friday rolled around, the trade already worked out, just like it did this week. $1,000 in hand. We did that yesterday. Like I said, $1,000 in hand right there. And traders just like yourself made out like a bandit. Look at this. Will, Mary, Priscilla, John, Robinson, David right there. Look, 12 contracts. Happy birthday. Right there. Some of those were from today, actually. Now, for anybody who would have loved to head into the weekend with an extra $1,000 in hand, I have another special bonus for you. I call this the Accelerated Payouts Strategy Guide right here. If you want to know how to lock in that 50% gain and then walk away and not worry about it, I have the details in this guide. But that's not all. You're also going to get easy access to the Gold Rush Alerts trade tracker, full transparency. You can see the track record on real live published trades in real time, straight from the source, as real as as long as I remember to put it on there, it's up to date. Now, for the new members who joined today, I'm doing something crazy. I told the team I didn't want to do this again. They convinced me we should do it. So this is a limited time offer. It expires today. I told them we're not running this past today. Now, many experts call for a gold bull run that could rival the 1970s. This is when gold skyrocketed 2,200%. I believe that right now we can see gold running even bigger after we get done with the consolidation. If we can actually break out, we might make an epic run higher. I mean, we've got this U.S. government debt crisis. We've got consumer debt crisis. If you haven't paid attention, we've got commercial real estate debt crisis that's nobody's talking about. We've got sticky inflation, 2.9% on the core PCE. We've got central bank stockpiling gold, the fastest rate in history. We've got textbook breakout pattern on gold, uncertainty around tariffs. All the stuff just keeps piling up. If gold runs like I think it might, we could be looking at an epic multi-year run. I want you along for the ride with me. So here's what I'm going to do. Gold Rush is normally priced at $19.97 a year. But I want to get you in here, all right? I want to do something for you, get you in here at a lower price, out of pocket. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to take these trades at 90% off the out-of-pocket cost. That's right. I've set up a special deal to access Gold Rush alerts for 30 days for just $197 right here. So instead of having to plunk down a big chunk out of pocket, I'm going to give you access for 30 days for $197 right here. Special deal. So if you're ready to target an extra $1,000 or more over the weekend, I mean, if you had jumped into this yet on Wednesday, you could have already paid this access off right there. Using a strategy that's paying out nearly 7 out of every 10 weekends when we get a setup, lock in your membership to Gold Rush right here. Save 90% off the out-of-pocket cost to get access for a trial period. JeffryTrader.com/gold. Drop the link in the chat or call my team 904-706-3537 right here. Click that link in the chat. Go there. If you're going to type it in and spell my name right, there's only one E in Jeffrey. Call the team 904-706-3536 right here. Lock it in. 3537 is what it actually says. And come join us right there. You got questions, you got multiple payment plans, whatever it might be. Now, if you grab that membership for 30 days at $197, on the very next page, I'm going to offer you the opportunity to upgrade for a year at a fraction of the normal cost. So if you'd like to receive more alerts than just the next 30 days on a system that pays out 7 out of every 10 weekends when we've got a setup, the last 2 weekends closing out early even before the weekend hit, save yourself hundreds of dollars in the process. Lock it in right here. JeffryTrader.com/gold. Call the team 904-706-3537. Now, I want to pay this baby off, just like we did kind of this week for people that tried it out. like Scott did right here. That one trade just about paid for the entire subscription. Click the link in the chat. Lock it in right there. Gold Rush alerts paid out like crazy. Look at some of these top trades. Laura, 50%. Brian, 50%. Marianne, 79%. Beth, 100, almost 200%. Kathy, 100%. Donald, 80%. James, 76%. Chris, 115. Jerry, 77. That's another one from Jerry right there. With 120 contracts. Holy bananas. Robert, 133%. Kathy, 163%. Rex, 56%. David, 50%. Boom. Mark, Marianne. I mean, look at those numbers. Crazy numbers. All different dates, too. With an average hold time of 3 days on average. Of course, some are smaller, some are losers. That's 3 out of 10 are losers on average. Starting right now, you have that same kind of opportunity on the weekend gold rush. Because the truth is, everybody needs a little extra jingle, right? We need that gold without having to go paying it out of the creek right there. Come join us, jeffreytrader.com/gold. Call the team, 904-706-3537. Traders are loving gold rush. I mean, look at this. Jeffrey G, $1,700. Bo, 100%. Michael, 106%. Doing better than me. Donald, 52.5%. Great work, Donald. Right there, $2,700. 191% from Warren. Crushed it. Can't wait to see what you do with Gold Rush alerts right here. Come join us. What's the first weekend opportunity going to be for you next week? Only the new members are going to know. Now, I can't promise anything, right? We may take a loser next week, just like what happened. Look at what happened August 6th right here, a couple weeks ago, right? 3:30 p.m. In the case of this signal, another winner before the weekend hit, $2,200. That's well over 100% right there. Now, we were targeting 50%, but we actually got out. We had the profit target set, and the market filled us even higher for over 100% gain right there. And then off to the weekend, enjoying ice cream. That looks like that's my game right there. Let's get some ice cream. Go fishing, swimming, play some tennis, pickleball, whatever it is you love to do on the weekends. jeffreytrader.com/gold, 904-706-3537. It's time to make a choice. You can go back to doing whatever you were doing today, worrying about when the next real recession might be cooking. Forget that gold broke out and we're in another consolidation before we break out again. Or you can do something new. You can tap into gold during the bullish days of the week. Start targeting $1,000 or more beginning next weekend. So the choice is yours. What are you going to do? How about join us? jeffreytrader.com/gold, 904-706-3537. Now, some common questions like, how big of an account do you need? You could do this in a smaller account. The average position right around 100, $200. I think this past week was actually $220. See what I had to have? $220 to take that position. Now, do you need any kind of special knowledge about options? No, we're just going to buy a straightforward call, level 1 stuff. No special approvals, no day trades, nothing crazy. It's a very simple trade. Will the alerts come out at 3:30 on Wednesday all the time? Yes, there is a bot that fires off with the alert. As I showed you, I built a strategy very similar to what we did in the opening. That's time-based, and it has a filter to it that fires off. When it fires off, we take the trade. When it doesn't fire off, we don't take that trade. Will there be a trade every week? When gold is bullish? Yes. However, that indicator I built has a filter that keeps us out of trouble. How much time do you need? Probably a minute to set up the trade, a minute to set up the exit, and then you're back to whatever you want to do. Come join us, jeffreytrader.com/gold, 904-706-3537. We still have a bunch of people here. Who's got questions? I got maybe some answers. Let me know. I'll hang out for just a minute. If there's no questions, I mean, so far I don't see anything right there. Is your market roadmap tool available to buy? No, that's my tool. All right. You want more information on the credit spread? If you're still here, Jerry or Jim, sorry, Jim. I was looking at the wrong message. Jim, if you're still here, that will be out in October unless you're Turnmire Trading Lab member and you can get it now. That's going to expire today. That's that deal. I told the team I didn't want to. I wanted to run the more expensive deal because this thing just works right there. jeffreytrader.com/gold. Jared dropped the link right there. Come join us. There you go. Any other questions? That gets you 30 days of access. If you want more, upgrade when you get the opportunity in the checkout process right there. 2024, 2025 is not done yet. 2024, this was my most profitable trade I did right here. I made more money trading this particular strategy than I did anything else in 2024. People always want to know how it performs, whether you actually trade it. I made more money on this one than I did any other thing I do in 2024. Anybody, any more questions? You have till the market close. You got 30 minutes, basically. Some people trade the next day. We could be out the next morning, though, so you never know. So it's kind of, you got to make your own choices. It fires off 3:30 p.m. every Wednesday. Like, you can literally set an alarm for it. And I'm not going to know, if you ask me at 3 o'clock, hey, we're going to get a trade today. I don't know. I just wait for the alert to fire off. If it fires off, I take the trade. If it doesn't fire off, I don't take the trade. Goes up to the 1,997 a year. Yeah, this is a limited time, 1 month offer. There's not a monthly subscription. We're not offering a monthly subscription. This is just a trial for 30 days. Now you can upgrade. You might be able to call the team and ask them if you're still in the month, if you can upgrade for the lower price. They may let you do that, but it goes back up to the normal price. All right. Any other questions? Do your losing trades go to 0 or lower percent? Okay. When you get in on Wednesday, you buy an option that's out here in time, you hold it till Monday, and you get out, there's still all this value left. It's a very difficult concept for some people, but we're never holding to expiration. You don't do that. We're not playing, we're not buying Monday's option. We're not playing 0 days. We're buying out in time, and we're getting out on Monday. Win, lose, or draw. Either get out early, 50% profit, which happened this week, or you get out on Monday, or you can make your own choice what you're doing. You're doing something else. Very easy. It's very simple. Time-based stop. Most people don't think about it that way. They're always out on Monday. Get out. Win, lose, or draw. It's never gone to 0 on Monday. Virtually impossible with the time factor left. Yes, this week's trade already won. Like I showed that off at the beginning in the Market Master session. It already worked out right here. We got in, alert fired off, got in, got out yesterday, 50% winner. Special ends at midnight tonight, wherever you are. Maybe it's midnight tonight at, the international date line. That's what I told. Special runs for the end of the day. There you go. Any more questions? I'm going to go get back to my day. Go eat some lunch. After talking for 2 hours, I'm starving. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye for now.